Here we go again. I often hear that after collecting a few MP5 you can spam consecration on cooldown. In general, the expression consecration on cooldown causes me some dissonance because the spell consumes a huge amount of mana. If we take paladin in blue parade gear and spam the last rank of consecration, mana will end in 5-6 casts, in case you don't use other spells. In my opinion, spamming is something which lasts for a long time, not for 30-40 seconds. Of course you can remember about downranking and then everything is real, but in any case such statements may confuse players. If you use rank 3, the uptime will almost twice longer. The first run can be spammed for 2-3 minutes, but TPS will be much lower, and if there are strong DPS in your party or raid, the using of lower spell ranks is not an option either. Initially I wanted to prepare a very small video that was supposed to end in this place, but then I decided that there would be an understatement. Indeed, the topic of mana management for protection paladin is acute, but there are several ways to smooth it out. Seal of Wisdom provides paladin the two additional sources of mana, Seal procs and Judgment procs. Seal proc is a standard PPM proc. The frequency is about 16 ppm. This means that regardless of whatever you use, fast or slow weapons, the amount of mana you will receive over the same amount of time is equivalent about 120 MP5 against mobs of 63rd level. Proc of Judgment use another mechanics. It has proc chance about 40% and scales with weapon speed. Look at the numbers. The result of fast weapons is much better than those of slow weapons. Moreover, Seal of Rightnesses and Judgment of Rightnesses procs also trigger the Judgment of Wisdom. That will give you even more mana. Take a look at the test results. Using Seal of Wisdom will not solve all problems. Firstly, Seal and Judgment also requires mana. If mob die quickly enough, it makes no sense to use them. Secondly, even this significant amount of mana is not enough to keep Holy Shield and Consecration up around. The second way to improve mana management is to collect stats from gear, enchants, buffs and consumables. Indeed, gathering a full tier 2 set makes it much easier to manage mana. The most effective in my opinion is intellect. It is easy to get and useful in both short fights and long fights. If we talk about MP5, this stat can only show itself in long fights, because it has such feature that I call time for implementation. What does it mean? Let's imagine your paladin have 24 MP5. How much time must pass when you accumulate enough mana to cast Consecration rank 5? It will take almost 2 minutes before that stat will benefit you. Now take a look at this chart. With the growth of MP5, the time of implementation is significantly reduced. Now imagine that you have 0 MP5. How useful would be an item with 4 MP5? Exactly, almost useless. Therefore, it makes no sense to give preference to gear and enchants with MP5 if this is the only item in your equipment. And about Spirit. All paladin tanking abilities have long cooldowns. Therefore, very often you will receive 1 or 2 ticks of mana regeneration from the Spirit. Every 2 points of Spirit give paladin 1 MP5. Of course, there is no need to collect items with Spirit, but don't forget to poke your priest so they will bath you. I want to clarify that we are talking about potions and runes. These are 2 cooldowns that will help you to restore mana in long battles and emergency cases. Once again, I want to repeat, in long battles and emergency cases. If you spend all your mana on a simple pack of 3 mobs in Scholar Mines and use a potion, then you are doing something wrong. Most often, the use of potions and runes is justified only if someone pulls an extra pack or one of the tanks dies and you need to attack an additional mobs. Always keep at least 1 cooldown up, because if something goes wrong and you have no mana, then most likely you will be not able to do anything. And finally, know the fight. If you're tanking mob which will be killed the last, there is no point to use all abilities on maximum rank and spending all your mana. If you know that the next pull will be hard won, then it's better to sit down and drink, etc, etc, etc. Learn dungeons, tactics, for boss, individual packs, and then it will be easier for you to manage your mana. And at the end of the video I would like to say thank you to all my subscribers, to all those who watched the video. I really appreciated your comments and feedback. Less than a month remains before release of WoW Classic, and I look forward to this date in order to create my Protection Paladin. I'm going to try streaming, and of course I will be a lot of new content about Protection Paladin in WoW Classic. Subscribe to the channel and see you at the end of August. Bye.